The first time, when we are standing out there in our uniform for us commissioning, we got our stripes, the flying officer stripes, and we're made to wear that wing, like we say in
Right.
flying. And there's a very famous saying that goes, no amount of gold in the world can buy you those wings.
So, ma'am, did you ever feel that this is a male dominated area?
There were certain moments when I did have a breakdown in the academy. I ended up calling up my mother. I said, I'm missing you and I want to come back. It's getting too much. I'm breaking down because you're not allowed cell phones. You're not even allowed to call every day. You wait the entire day. That one call you get to do, as per the time.
What was the most intense situation that you had to handle during a mission?
Smriti, there wouldn't be one. I mean, I think all these unplanned missions that come up, we do a lot of routine training and flying, and then there are a lot of missions that we undertake. Whenever we talk of any mission, I think the dynamics are very vulnerable because, you're not allowed cell phones, you're not even allowed to call every day. You wait the entire day, that one call you get to do, as per the time.
How would you like to finish this sentence? One life, make it.
I think I just said this sometime back also. One life, make it as large as you want to.
15th August isn't just about the freedom we won as a nation. It is about the courage we carry in our hearts every single day. Our guest today has lived that courage. She wore the uniform of the Indian Air Force, served the nation from the skies, and proved that discipline and dreams can go hand in hand. From defending our borders to representing India on the ramp as Mrs. India 2024, her life is proof that true freedom is the power to reinvent yourself again and again. This is the story of Wing Commander, retired Anjali Rathee, also known as Angelina Josh, a woman who reminds us that strength, grace, and patriotism can all live in one soul. Welcome to this Independence Day special of Femme Forward Podcast. Good afternoon, ma'am. How are you feeling today?
Good afternoon, Smriti. Absolutely wonderful.
Thank you so much for saying yes to coming to this platform. It's an honor. It's a huge, huge honor for us.
It's my pleasure indeed. When I saw the kind of work you're getting into, I was absolutely, I would say, thrilled, and I was really looking forward to this session
You know,
with
it
you here.
means a lot when people like you, extend support to us and helping hand because interviews of people like you really help us grow.
No, my pleasure. I'm equally, I would say, excited and thrilled to be associated with you towards the, purpose that I see you're working towards.
Yeah.
So yes, I share the same passion.
Thank you so much. So, ma'am, we'll start with your journey. What inspired you to join Air Force? And when did you first dream of flying jets?
Okay, so to start with, I think the initial dream was more of, serving my country, wearing the uniform, and that came very naturally being, fourth generation, like I might say. My grandfathers were, they had served in the defense forces. So I think that was pretty much, there in my blood. Like I can say it was a legacy that I always dreamt of taking forward. So I think the passion to wear, the uniform and to be serving my country was right, from the start I had it. But flying came at a lot later stage. So, that was more of, my mother's dream. And I found it a little, like you say, a far-stretched dream in the initial days.
Yeah.
But yes, she taught me that if you put in your heart and soul, there's no dream that's too big. So I think being in Air Force, I got an opportunity to be serving my country and flying, defending the skies. So yeah, that's how.
So, ma'am, you
happened.
just mentioned that your mother really motivated you. That is so rare because you know how the stereotypes are these days that parents are usually not so supportive of such unconventional careers per se or such, where there's risk factor.
You very rightly brought it out. I think there's always that one person in our life who's always giving us that extra push. So for me, I think that's been my mother, not just motivating me right from childhood. I grew up with the values of, you have to be at the forefront, you have to serve. And even today, as we talk, I think the multiple careers that I have been, a part of, even today, as I sit, I talk to you, I pursue my career, she's the biggest support that I have. She's the one who's telling me, I'm there, I'll help you. I'll help you in managing kids or
Yeah.
house. You go out there, pursue your dreams. So I think that's how we women grow, when we support each other's journeys, when we support each other's dreams and passions. And I feel that's how it should be. We all need to be supporting each other in our, journeys to grow and to evolve.
So, mom, do you believe that more than men, women need support of their families to evolve, to grow, to pursue their dreams?
So absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, very clearly, when it comes to managing household, managing kids, I mean, even today, we're all women who progressive, who are working, who have career, but we still know by the end of the day, when it comes to family, when it comes to your household, we're the ones who juggling more, the multiple hats that we wear. So definitely, because with us, it's not just our career that we want to be excelling at. We might be excelling at our career, but at the same time we also want to be, good mothers, we want to be good wives, we want to have that perfect house, we have those passions for our kids. We get into that guilt so often, when we feel, oh, I'm not giving enough time. So that those emotions, those I think that's how we are made, that's how we are structured, that we're always wanting to excel and at the same time nurture our family also, give them also the care. So yes, I think we women definitely need a lot more support, because we are balancing so much more in life.
Right. So, mom, you mentioned that the four generations in your family are into, serving the country.
Yes,
So,
yes.
had it not been the case, would you still be in Air Force?
So I think talking about my background, that's primarily been army background, like I said,
Okay.
and not just like my father's background, even my mother's side, my grandfather, even my uncles, almost everybody through and through has been from the defense forces. So I mean, it's very difficult to say if that wasn't my background, how it would be. But yes, I think with that background, definitely, when you grow up in that kind of environment, you get fascinated. Like we all say, as a child, our first hero is,
A
either our father and
father,
now I can say our mothers.
mothers.
So I think that does have a, lot of impact on what we want to do in future. Like my daughter already looks at me and she says, I want to be like you. I want to fly like you. So that does play, a very important part of, how we see our future, what we want to do when we grow up.
And that is so true, ma'am. The children, what they see around them, that somehow subconsciously nurtures them.
Yes, yes.
And I think you were very privileged in a way that your family was super supportive.
Yes.
And, of course, they were very progressive
Yes.
when it came to supporting women.
And also, I would say, along with that privilege came that understanding as well. Like a lot of people I know who do not want to also join the defense forces because by the end of the day, it is a profession where, yes, you more often than not leave your families behind.
Yeah.
We leave our kids behind. We are there, at the forefront. Your lives are at stake. There are no, routine working hours when we talk of defense life. Like now I'm in corporate or any other profession, even in the middle of the night, a situation is out of hand. You're at the call of duty. You absolutely, in the blink of an eye, you leave everything behind and you're there. So, it might be difficult for a lot of people to understand that or to probably be able to don that kind of life. But yes, again, that helped being from that background where I saw that kind of life. I saw my dad being not available with us most of the
Yeah.
times. And, we would see him once or twice in a year at times, when he would come on leave. So I think I was prepared that life's not going to be easy, but then that's what it takes when you're out there, serving your country. And I think I was prepared that it will be challenging, but I should be able to do it.
That is great. So, ma'am, do you vividly remember your first day in uniform and how it felt like to be there?
Wow, I think yes. I think that moment, I'm sure I speak for almost everybody who's experienced, been privileged to experience that moment. I think the first time, when we are standing out there in our uniform for us commissioning, we got our stripes, the flying officer stripes, and we're made to wear that wings, like we say in
Right.
flying. And there's a very famous saying that goes, no amount of gold in the world can buy you those wings.
Right.
It's something you have to earn. So I think the first time when we were all, me and my entire batch, we were standing on the tarmac, commissioning moment. The sun was rising. It was early morning hours. We were practicing. And that moment felt, it was surreal. It
Yeah.
wasn't just, I would say, fabric, that uniform. It was like, an identity. It was that emotion where I felt, yes, this is what I was meant to do in life. And I felt such a wholesome feeling. It was also a great sense of responsibility at that moment that from now on, life changes. It is
Yeah.
always putting your country before yourself. And I think I couldn't have been more proud of, anything else in the world than, that moment it still holds a very special feeling in my
I
heart.
can imagine, ma'am, there is nothing more honorable than to serve your country.
I truly, I've lived by that motto. I still do.
And I'm
Yes.
just feeling goosebumps listening to you right now. I can like totally imagine how you must have felt.
Yeah, it was a wonderful
Yeah.
moment.
So, how was your training period?
So I'm going to be honest here, okay? So training is difficult. It is meant to be difficult because it's not some job that they are training you for. I always say this, we do have a lot of people who also drop out after they join the academy, because there are moments of breakdown when they feel they can't handle the pressure. But I think that's how it's meant to be. It is a rigorous training in terms of, not just your mental health, physical health, but an entire personality grooming. They are teaching you how to handle, those intense situations. And for that, I think you have to be mentally agile. You have to be physically fit. You need to learn, how to contain yourself in those times of pressure. More often than not, when unexpected situation comes, be given. So that training is, it's crafted in such a way that once you've gone through that training, you are so much better prepared to take up any unforeseen situation in life. So, yes, early morning PT drills. Throughout the day, we would have academics, then flying training. Then at night, seniors, what we fondly call, the ragda that they call it, the
Yeah.
ragging session, all that, everything has a purpose. It's mental strengthening, it's emotional strengthening, it's physical strengthening. So difficult, but yes, that's a very integral part.
So, ma'am, did you ever feel that this is a male dominated area?
So, see, I'll be very honest here. When we say anything dominated is where, for me, I would say yes, in terms of numbers, definitely. I wouldn't even say it was 1% at that point of time, like from the Varanasi board when I got selected in my final year in 2008. I was the only, I would say,
Woman.
woman who was selected from that entire batch that year. So in numbers, maybe yes, it was male dominated, but yes, when it comes to flying and all aspects related to it, I've always said this, the machine doesn't know whether it's a man or a woman flying it. It's purely your skills, your training. And I think, yes, as women, we generally tend to put in more efforts because we are inherently wanting to, make an impact and to prove ourselves. So I think, yeah, I allowed my flying and my skills to talk for me. No, I would say much of a difference. Yes, in terms of numbers, we were very few compared to,
Yeah.
that is the only difference I felt.
So, was there any moment when you felt like giving up and running away?
Yes, I'll be honest here. In spite of having the kind of background that I had, in spite of being prepared that it's not going to be easy, there were certain moments when I did have a breakdown in the academy. I ended up calling up my mother. This one instance I remember when I remember breaking down and telling her it's getting too tough because that was the first time ever I was away from her as well.
Yeah.
I said, I'm missing you and I want to come back. It's getting too much. I'm breaking down because you're not allowed cell phones. You're not even allowed to call every day. You wait the entire day. That one call you get to do, as per the time. So I remember she was very, any other mother in this situation would be like, oh, okay, fine, come back and all. She said, no, that's not, you're not, making me and your father proud by saying that. It's in these tough times that, your true character comes out. So, I mean, that's not the daughter I raised. How can you give up when
Oh.
it's getting difficult? And somehow, I mean, that fact which she conveyed that if you want to come back, go ahead, but I'm not going to be able to look at you in the same way. I think we say, parents at times, no, let the kids do whatever they want to. I think it's at times like these, it's also important for parents to give that little extra push, give that little, motivation. It really goes a long way. So
If your mom back then would have said ki it's okay, just
come
come
back, I
back,
would have gone back. And
maybe you would have
I would have
later.
hated that decision today.
Yeah.
I would have regretted it. So that few words, those few words, are you a quitter? And I said, no, I'm not going to be able to look at you the same way. That's not the girl I raised. And I was like, no, I'm going to hold on here. I'm not going to give up so soon. And yeah, in a matter of days, I felt myself more settled in. I felt I adapted to the training. So yeah, she played an important role there.
So, ma'am, eventually, like, were you able to, build a friendly equation with the men also, or were there judgmental looks?
No, 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 absolutely not. In fact, we're all called co-mates, those who train together. I think it's such an amazing time, all our physical activities that we have in terms of, our PT, the runnings, and, even our classes, flying. Everywhere, it's like we're a team together. There is no male female kind of any biases there. In fact, we help each other, we pull up each other. I remember those night route marches that we have, they are exhausting. There were times, as a woman, I was pulling some of my male colleagues, ahead with me. There were some male colleagues who were helping lifting up their female colleagues and helping them cross over, when they felt there was no. I think we get beyond those, man woman kind of mental barriers when we are training as a team. And that's why they train us together, that we become, that camaraderie stays amongst us. Those, inhibitions and those judgment of man woman, no, we're all on the same platform.
That is liberating to know. I mean, I'm so
Absolutely.
glad that you said this.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, what was the most intense situation that you had to handle during a mission?
So, Smriti, there wouldn't be one. I mean, I think all these unplanned missions that come up, we do a lot of routine training and flying, and then there are a lot of missions that we undertake. Whenever we talk of any mission, I think the dynamics are very vulnerable. The situation is not very predictable. If you take any classic, like a casualty evacuation, if I talk about, there are so many instances, like, I remember a few of them where, time is critical. We don't have much time. We're trying to save lives. The weather is packing up. You have to keep the safety of your team also, and you also have to save lives. But all your SOPs have to be in order. So those situations are very demanding. They drain you mentally. But you have to keep your calm. You have to see what is the best possible option at that point of time. And I think routinely we come across these situations when it gets overwhelming.
Ma'am, you must have saved millions of lives.
We do with casualty evacuation, not just our own troops at times, but also civilian population. Yes, whether there are earthquakes or there are floods, you now, as you routinely see, Air Force is pretty much at it anytime, any natural calamity, anytime, now these days, even in the combat role, anytime, any situation, which demands, my brothers and sisters in arms, I would say, are out there.
So, ma'am, any situation where you've put your own life at risk to save other lives?
I think, Smriti, I would not say it's never happened, because see, every time when you're taking up a rescue mission, especially in places where places like Northeast, where the weather is so unpredictable, and the fact that you're getting into an area where there are some sort of floods, or there is a natural disaster, I think even flying into that kind of area in the kind of weather
Is life
conditions,
threatening.
that is life threatening. But then I think that's how we operate. We put the best interest of our
People,
service
yeah.
and people before us, of course not jeopardizing the safety of the team and the aircraft, because that is also your responsibility. So yes, here again there is some risk factor associated a lot of times, most of the times. But you got to make those, you have to make those calculated decisions. And yeah, that's how the job is.
Yeah. So, ma'am, there's always this fear that one mistake at your end can cost lives. How do you handle this pressure?
So I think I'll again go back to, that training.
Training.
Like they say, the more you, sweat in peace, the less you bleed in war. I think it's very similar to even with your flying, almost every sortie that you fly, every mission that you undertake, you will be coming under, those overwhelming, demanding situations where things don't go as planned. Mid-air, the dynamics change. You could have an engine emergency, like we hear of so many crashes happening, where it takes a second for people to turn around and blame the pilot. But just imagine at those altitudes, and trust me, it's a very different dimension that we are talking about. It's not sitting in the comfort of an AC
Of
office
course.
that you're taking those decisions. So you're already in, physically challenging conditions. It's after all, it's a machine. It can never be 100% predictable. You have lives at stake, and then suddenly it could be a weather situation not working in your favor. It could be something related to your machine which is not working in your favor. There are hundreds, or I would say multiple things that can go wrong midair. So we need to understand that for a pilot, he puts in all the training that he's gone through till now to make the best decision that he feels is correct at that moment.
Right.
It may not always be correct, but trust me, he does, make that effort to make the best possible decision. You always try to put yourself ahead of the aircraft. You have to continuously be, calculating in your mind. You continuously need to keep calculating what, the next move has to be.
I think it's your instinct also sometimes.
Instinct, but that instinct comes from the kind of training we
Of
go through.
course.
Because the more knowledge you have of the aircraft, the more you have trained, the more you have read about, the terrain or the dynamics of the aircraft, I think your situational reaction or your ability to take that split second decision will be a lot more sound. So that's why, in our training days, when we have those days when we are exhausted, when we don't want to do it anymore, that's what our instructor tells us, that you'll never be prepared when what goes wrong. So the more you sweat it out now, the better, decision making you'll do when you're up there.
So, mom, do you miss those days now?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think that was more than a dream for me, and I mean, God is kind. I was able to live that dream, and now that I'm out of it, I would say those wings, they still stay with me. That pride of those wings are always going to stay with me. But yes, I mean, I do miss being in the uniform. I mean, out there in action. I do miss those.
So, ma'am, you got married and you also had a child while you were serving the country. How did you manage between the roles? It must have been very, very difficult.
So I think not a child. I have two kids, and yes, being a mother, I think is never easy. I think for whether you're working or you're not working, because that comes in with its own challenges. With all of us as mothers, we understand. So of course, when you have your career that's so demanding, and then kids, it does get a lot overwhelming at times. But I think that's where we need to realize the importance of prioritizing how we want to go about it, asking for help, seeking, help from your family, whether it's your partner, or in my case, it was my partner and my mother who immediately pitched in. There were days I was not available. My kids were young. I had to be out. I had to be, traveling for work. And I remember her being there for me, supporting me, and again, telling me that it's okay, go, do not bother, do not worry. I'm here. I'm here to help you out. So I think we all need that. I've said it earlier. We all need that support, to make it a little easier. We will end up managing either ways. I feel as women we are very strong and we are very good at multitasking, but a little help always makes it a lot more easier, I will say.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So-
there were difficult moments. I'm not going to deny them. There were times I had to question whether my prioritizing is working in the right way. I had my moments of struggle as well. But yeah, whatever support my husband and mother could extend, they were very helpful.
That is wonderful. So, ma'am, what led to the decision of retirement?
Okay, so decision per se, see, for short service, when I, joined the Air Force Academy, I mean, our tenure itself is for 14 years. We do
Okay.
1.5 year of training, followed by 14 years of, serving. That makes it a total of 15.5 year. So that's what for flying your, as a short service commission officer, your tenure is like. After completing that, there is an option. If you wish to take an extension, you can, and Air Force does give it to you if you're performing. And you also have an option so that you're not leaving midway, you're completing your tenure. So I think that's when, I continued serving and flying with my kids. But in my last year, before, just before my tenure was getting
Yeah.
completed, that year I did a lot of introspection. I realized that, yes, I have given very proudly given the best of my, youth years to serving and living my dream of, serving my country. And probably now I could take a, change or shift in career after, completing my tenure, where I could also, give a lot, I would say a little more time or prioritize my family life, especially the kids a little more. So that was a very conscious decision, which I thought and I took. And yes, that's what I'm doing at present.
So, ma'am, you served for 14 years. How often were you able to visit your family? Let's say in 1 year.
So leave, I think pretty much, for all of us 4Gs, it's the same. If things are going well, things are peaceful, you may get it, but depending on situation, you may not get it. So there were times I wouldn't. Initial years, when I was not married, I remember if I was not getting leave, my mother would end up coming to visit me. So
Yeah.
that wasn't an issue. And then, yes, after marriage, then, for a while, me and my husband weren't posted together. So again, the same setup. Sometimes he would take leave and visit, sometimes I would. But I think it's pretty much, it's not like it's a privilege. It's not something you can demand because
Yeah.
nobody denies it if, situation is normal. But then, yes, it's not something which is, guaranteed because it depends on what the situation is like. So, but I reasonably got leave generally whenever I wanted.
That is great.
Yeah.
And then, ma'am, you became Mrs. India.
Yeah.
A drastic switch and a drastic, I think, when you compare the two worlds,
Yes.
they are poles apart.
Yeah.
So, what inspired you to consider pageantry after everything you did?
So I think, Smriti, I would also say a part of it comes from I graduated from Hindu college in 2008 and I got the title of Miss Hindu then.
Right.
So I was a part of the fashion society then, but that was, just a part of my passion. I wasn't really aiming to pursue it as a career. Like I said, it was always military for me. So when I took this, when I finally hung my uniform, that 1 year I decided to do a lot of introspection. I did not immediately, jump into picking up a job. And that's when, I stumbled upon this opportunity of coming across Vogue Star Mrs. India, where I happened to learn about the, purpose of this platform.
Okay.
So, like a lot of us think, Mrs. India or similar pageantry, it's just about, we look pretty, we walk on the ramp and, the glitz that's associated with it.
Yeah.
But after talking to the entire team, Kriti, who's the founder, Harry, when I spoke to them, I realized it's an all woman led platform. Firstly,
Okay.
so that fact in itself, that unconventionally women leading, that sort of impressed me. Then the purpose behind that platform. So I said, why not? I've always been very vocal. I've always, tried to advocate for, women having a freedom of choice at any and every stage of life. And here, yes, people were skeptical. They had, like, okay, from the comfort of combat boots to now walking the ramp. I don't know. I was very convinced that finally, I think any profession in life, it's your own runway. I think whatever
Right.
step you're taking, you can make it an opportunity to shine. So the aim that time was to not just go and win. It was like getting that whole experience, learning out of it, what I can preach or practice out of what I gained from there. And fortunately, I had an opportunity to do that. Post winning, I got such beautiful platforms where I could go, I could, voice my thoughts. I could, sort of preach and practice the fact that women have a choice to pick up any profession at any stage of life, whatever, multiple layers that we live in of responsibilities, of expectations. Finally, we do have a choice what we want to do at any stage of life. So that's how, the pitch entry happened.
Right. So, ma'am, what inspired me the most about you was that you didn't just stop at being a retired Indian Air Force helicopter pilot. You kept evolving. And that is really very inspiring. And that tells us that sky's the limit. It's up to you now, you know?
Very true, Smriti. I just say this one sentence very often that, when people talk about you've done this one thing, why this now? Or, oh, you've already proved. I don't know. I just happen to feel it's finally by the end of the day, it's just one life that we all have the privilege of.
Yeah.
So finally, it is in this, we need to realize it is in this life that, whatever your passions, your dreams are, it's up to you how much you can realize it with your hard work. It's up to you if you want to stop at any stage, but then I never wanted to stop. I at every stage I told myself I am going to make the most of it. I will keep growing, I will keep evolving. I will grab every opportunity that comes my way, and in whatever best way I can also use these platforms as a lot of stereotype breaking that is needed in our society today.
Yeah.
That oh, if she's this, then why is she doing this? No, it's high time we women especially get to decide our own paths and we pursue our dreams fearlessly. So yes, it's one life. Please make it, as large as you wish to.
That is a great advice. So,
Thank you.
ma'am, when you walked that final ramp as Mrs. India 2024, what was that thought going on in your mind?
So I think, Smriti, it's almost every, whether it's me writing an exam or walking the finale, stage or any such, critical stage of life. I think I always have a self belief in myself that I'm just going to go and, do my best. It's of course, you do feel happy if you make it, you win.
Yeah.
But for me, it's never just about that. It's a lot about let me go out there, let me put my best, authentic, genuine foot forward, and then, yeah, leave the
So,
rest.
what does the crown present to you?
I think the crown represents a lot of purpose to me. It's reflecting through you. You're putting that dreams in so many, girls, women out there who would just be sitting and thinking. It's sort of, giving them an opportunity or giving them a reflection, I would say, that it's never too late. Get up, rise and shine, and, put in that extra effort to go and pursue your dream. Chase your dreams, never just, settle down. So that's what that, crown means to me.
Right. And, ma'am, after this, the boardroom journey,
Yeah.
what inspired that?
So I think like I said, it's one life, never settle. Just
Yeah.
so yes, corporate also it brings in a very different meaning to me. I think I'm carrying all the values that were imbibed in me. From my military days, I'm bringing in the same values here, and I'm trying to make some meaningful differences here as well with all those values. And yes, I think so far so good.
So, ma'am, but the transition must have been a little difficult because from, flying jets to being in a restricted, sort of a four wall environment.
Okay, so I can say the thrill of flying, of course, I would miss, but I don't feel confined because I think there's so much scope for you to grow. Even here, there are so many important, policy decision making that I'm a part of. There's so much essence to working here because CG specifically is like a people first
Right.
company. There are a lot of values attached here as well, and no, I don't feel restricted. I think in fact I've grown more hungry to learn because every new venture in life, you take it as an opportunity to learn. So now when I with that experience, the values in mind, here I started as an absolute fresher. I was so open to learning from everyone I crossed my paths with, and I was also looking forward to making some meaningful contribution here as well. So yes, I think I'm absolutely enjoying my journey. There's so much of I would say challenging work that
Yeah.
comes across, and it's like that adrenaline rush just keeps going when you have
Yeah.
new things, new curveballs coming at you.
Right.
So yeah.
So, ma'am, I saw this reel on your Instagram that says you made me do too much labor.
Okay, yeah, that was
Yeah.
one of the reels I recently
Yeah.
put.
So, was there a moment in your life when you felt that pressure?
So I think, the pressure has been there, not once, not twice, but I think with all of us, Smriti, you'll agree,
Yeah.
we all come across, those moments in life where we all feel, a little overwhelmed, a little overburdened, not with somebody specifically trying to, give me some work, but then, yes, I think it's a fact when you choose to have it all, and why not? I did want to have a sound career. I did want to have a family life. I did want to have, two kids. In fact, it was my decision. I said, no, I want two kids and I want to be there for them. So, when we take up, all of that and we try to do it, not all the time you get all the help as well. It does get a little overwhelming, but I think you get out of it. And that's what the whole message was, that, no matter how difficult the situation gets, well, me and I speak for everyone, we will walk out of it much stronger.
I think
So,
it's the part where you just sail through those difficult
yes.
situations is when you ultimately win. Because don't you believe? Because most of us we lack patience,
Yeah.
and I think patience and consistency is very important.
So I think when every difficult situation you come across, rather than, just the aim of overcoming it, if we just tell ourselves that I'm going to learn through it,
Learn through
I
it.
will come through it and I will get out of it so much stronger. Like in our personal life also, we believe, we see this so often that, every tough situation that we are put through, when we eventually, and we all eventually overcome it,
Yeah.
we are so much mentally stronger. So I think every difficult situation, every overwhelming situation, it's just, holding yourself, putting that thought in your mind that I am strong enough to get through it, and we will sail out of it
Yeah.
stronger.
Because when I also started this channel, it hasn't been that long. I also had many apprehensions because this is also a very competitive field. There
Yes.
are so many podcasters. But then why I believed in myself. I thought I'm doing something which is like a social cause.
Yes.
So probably one fine day.
And you're doing a wonderful job at
And
that. Like I said, that's the
no, when I get to
reason.
interview people like you, it's very rewarding.
No, it's the feelings are absolutely likewise. Even I really, appreciate, and I really loved the first interaction that we had. And that's when I decided, yes,
Thank you
let's
so
go
much,
ahead with
ma'am.
it.
So, ma'am, what do you think is that one thing which society misunderstands about ambitious women?
So I think a lot of people, that judgment is still there, that, probably ambitious women don't really care as much for their families, or
Yeah.
they're only interested. I think,
They're
that's not,
selfish.
yeah, they're selfish. But then I think, why not be selfish for your career? You worked all your life for it. Loving your family does not mean throwing away your career. That is something I am not, I'm never going to be convinced with that thought. I have still, I do give equal importance to my career, but I really love my kids. I love my family. I love my husband. And I think there might be times when, maybe I'm not able to balance it out the best, but, expecting somebody to probably throw away your entire career, if you love your family, or if you're only pursuing your career, you don't love your family enough. I think that misconception, it's high time we get past that.
I think
I
it's all
think,
about
yeah.
the balance.
Yes, and you may not be able to balance at times, but then that's where we need to tell ourselves it's okay. We're doing the best we can. We need not be perfect all the time. None of us are. It's about accepting that it's okay not being perfect. But yeah, this myth of, if you have a family, the career should take a backseat. No, I mean, I have a daughter. I'm raising her with so much passion and, with so much ambition for her. I'm not raising her that tomorrow, all that hard work that she's putting in, I'm putting in tomorrow, I expect her to throw it all away once she has a family. I think we're all mature enough to make sensible decisions. I would appreciate if society rather helped, out, women
Yeah.
in balancing rather than trying to judge them and
Right.
expecting so much out of
And
them.
try to put them at a spot where they have to
Yeah.
choose.
Those judgmental looks that we get, school,
Yeah.
a complaint comes. Nobody would even ask where the father is. The mother, oh, I was at office. See, she's
Yeah.
only interested in her office.
Yeah.
I get that at times.
Oh God.
But I tell them, the way I'm raising my kids, they're super proud of their mother. They're watching how their mother is, working and taking care of them, and they're learning from that. So I know what I'm doing by the end of the day. I don't get affected by what people think.
That is amazing. So I'm Gen Z's listening to you today. What message do you want to give them on self-worth?
On self-worth. Okay, so I think there is we say, the Gen Z is so privileged in terms of the technology shift that's recently been taking place. They have so much more access. But, truly speaking, Smriti, I feel the Gen Z is under so much of pressure. There is just so much of judgment that happens these days, which
Yeah.
thankfully I feel wasn't there at our time. You judged for everything, how much you score, how you look, how you dress, whether you fit into a specific mold or not. So I think I'm just going to, give a very humble suggestion. Do not get carried away by those, norms that are set out for you. I remember in my time, I had issues settling in, but I always told myself, this is me. I'm comfortable being me. I don't mind being alone, but I'm not going to I'm not going to change myself just to fit into somebody's shoes or to please somebody.
Yeah.
The moment you start taking pride in your identity, the moment you start believing in yourself, I think that's when you won the game.
Yeah.
So don't get carried away by those, standards that I see are set. And, poor thing, I see kids trying so hard to fit into that mold that's set out, whether it's, your zero figures or those specific looks that are set out. No, I think just be confident in your own skin and your own appearance, and you know what you are. You are you, and just feel confident about it and have faith in yourself.
I think social media is setting very unrealistic
Yes.
standards.
Yes.
And we don't even realize, but they subconsciously are affecting our lives.
Absolutely. I mean, I've seen so many people, when they come up on social media, of course, we all like to look good and everything. But then I see there's a very, I don't know what's the right way to put it. There's a very fake life
Yeah.
that they at times try to project on social media.
It's some sort of a
And
competition.
yes, while I'm also on social media, I don't mind, of course, even I post a lot about my life. But the problem is when you're trying to portray a specific life just to, fit into that mold
Yeah.
or to be accepted or appreciated, I think you should stop chasing that. Happy sharing on social media, be yourself, those XYZ multiple filters and, those fake transitions and those fake, oh, I'm here, I'm there kind of, which I see and I just find it like, why do you need to do this?
Yeah.
Just be comfortable in, the life that you're leading and
Yeah.
the person
Be
that you are.
grateful for what
Yeah,
you
be
have.
grateful and be comfortable in who you are.
Right. So, ma'am, if you could talk to the 18-year-old Anjali, what would you whisper in her ear?
Oh, I wish I could tell her to be a little more calm.
Yeah.
I feel I have matured over the years, and a lot of calmness has come to me in dealing situations. I would say the ruthless version of me at 18, impulsive, jumping into situations, and those immediate instant reactions to everything. I would just tell her to calm down and drive slow. I regret now when I drive, I'm so cautious and everything. And then
Yeah.
I have my mother, making fun of me at times
Yeah.
as a 18-year-old when I just started, got my new license. So yes, a total brash at that time.
Yeah. Did something go wrong?
No, thankfully.
Thankfully,
But I
yeah.
remember my mother telling me every time you get out, with the car, you give me a heart attack,
Yeah.
drive slow.
Yeah.
So, yes, of course, we all have those stages in
Yeah,
our
we
youth when
have
we
those.
are a little. So, yes, I wish I could tell her to be a little more calm and composed.
Okay. So, do we all need uniform in life? Not just physically, but mentally to give us a structure?
I think if your thoughts are right, even if you're physically not donning the uniform, we can all serve in our own way.
Yeah.
You need not necessarily be in uniform. Just be a responsible citizen, worth, for the men or the women in uniform whom they are fighting for. So I think just making it, being responsible and being worth it, that also makes a lot of difference. Do the right thing, have faith and have, pride in your own country. I think that also you're serving your nation in a very big way.
Yeah.
Do not get into these, what do you say, the cyber warfare that happens, these fake propagandas. Don't get into these hate debates and, the hate that very often people try to preach. Just be a responsible citizen who knows that he needs to do the right thing and take pride in your country.
Right.
That's most important. That's I think that way you're serving the nation.
Very well said, ma'am. And, ma'am, how would you like to finish this sentence? One life, make it.
I think just said this some time back also. One life, make it as large as you want to.
Yeah.
It's within your own capacity, your capability. You decide your goals. You decide, to what peaks you want to rise in life and work towards it and put in that effort. And by the end of the day, again, it's one life, make it as large as possible.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for this very, very enlightening conversation. I'm feeling super, super inspired. And especially thank you for taking time for us in between your busy schedule and giving us this interview.
It's my pleasure. Even if, like I've said it, some thought somewhere puts in some positive effect anywhere, I think
That's
I
the
would be
mission of
very
this
happy.
channel.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Have a nice evening
Have a
ahead.
nice evening, ma'am.
Thank you.